Discover a region that compares with some of the greatest landscapes in the world. A diverse place of stunning coastlines. A vibrant region of adventure. Beautiful views and scenery. From the azure blues of the Coral Sea to the captivating allure of our rural inland. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons, where you can experience the tastes of locally grown delights. Find a fisherman's paradise and indulge in the simple pleasures straight from the boat, or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Experience the triumphs, trials, and fascinating tales of our history. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy, and discover that sometimes a game on the beach can take away the worries of the world, because paradise is on your doorstep. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day number 2 here at beautiful Bowen, round number 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships, race number 2, and we've got boats heading out onto the water, and we will be expecting them to line up against the starters' orders in exactly 10 minutes. 11 o'clock start for these guys. My name's Dave Bishop. I'll be joined in commentary a little bit later on by Mr. Con Salamitis. And we certainly hope you enjoyed yesterday's racing. The good news is the boats that failed to continue, all bar one, are fixed and back out on the water. A little bit of a race update. Unfortunately, Maritimo 12 was too badly damaged with that fire yesterday, and unfortunately we won't see restarting today. However, the judge, a broken pushrod for that particular boat, saw it out of the race yesterday, but Johnny Barbagallo and Big Al have been working all night on that particular boat, and they've got it sorted. New pushrod in the boat, and the engine is absolutely fine. They've done all the leak down checks and done everything that they can, and there's absolutely no issues with the engine in that boat. So the judge, the boat that led early in the piece yesterday, is back out on the water today. So exciting times for those guys. Team 3 unfortunately broke one of their good propellers. Team Maritimo have come to the rescue for those guys with a pair of propellers on loan for Team 3. So they've had to do a gear ratio change, so it could be anything today. They're going to head out and just see what combination they've got. But the good news is Team 3 will be out there and running. Michael and Griffith Thal in the Team 88 Racing, they had a massive spin at the top corner yesterday. High speed, 100 mile an hour spin out. Unfortunately put the fire out on the port engine on that particular boat. They went through the boat last night. They dried that engine out. They've got it running, done all the tests and checks on it, and that engine is absolutely fine. So those guys will be up and running with no problems at all again. So great news for all of those guys. So the only boat that we are missing, unfortunately, Maritimo 12. Of course, Maritimo 11, we spoke to those boys, and they are very, very happy with the boat. They have made a gear ratio combination change with their propellers, because they were just a little bit disappointed with the acceleration from the boat yesterday, and they're a little bit more confident about running with the judge down through the first couple of laps here this morning in Bowen. The other guys that had a couple of just little niggling issues, but the biggest problem was their start. The Team Dynamic Racing, unfortunately, had a terrible start yesterday. They are absolutely kicking themselves about that, and they're certainly not going to make the same mistake again today. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see those guys get up and going and have a red-hot dip today. A big thank you to all our wonderful sponsors. Our naming rights sponsor here this weekend, Abbott Point Operations, have done a fantastic job here at Bowen, as they all do. Along with North Queensland Bulk Ports, we've also got the Grandview Hotel, SW Crane Hire, craning the boats in and out, the Mighty M's, Triple M in Townsville, Whitsunday Regional Council, big thank you to those guys, along with the North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club, who have done a wonderful job all weekend. And my man, Big Mickey Boyce, has just slid into the commentary box as well, so we should have a chat with you while you're up here, Mickey. And my cord, I don't know if it's going to stretch far enough to reach you. Yeah, it does. Michael Boyce, good morning, with Sunday Ag Services. How you going, son?
Hey, very good, Deadly Dave. Thank you very much for inviting me up.
Mate, I didn't, but I like it when you come up here anyway. But, mate, it's great to have you here. You're one of the hardest working guys in Bowen. You do a great job. You must be pretty excited. I mean, what an event this is this year. I think this is the best one we've seen.
Yeah, no, I think the couple of original ones early on where we had very good numbers of boats, but they're coming back. The enthusiasm's back. Things are settling down. We had a bad run there last year, but we battled on. The sponsors are enjoying it, the people are enjoying it, and it gets a bit of incitement back in town. Things are not the best here at the moment. Prices are down for veggies, and we do need a bit of excitement. And the boats going, seeing the people at Marina Gardens, and just getting out in the schools. That was extremely popular. Brilliant feedback on that. So it just brings another level of excitement to town.
Yeah, look, it does, mate. And I know, obviously as a Victorian just coming up into Bowen for the weekend, but the street parade last night that we did was absolutely amazing. It always is, there's just such a great atmosphere around town.
Yeah, it's good, and then when you start hearing the feedback from the venues, the turnover in tables, and just catching up with people again, it's really good, and meeting new people that you haven't met before that have come in from out of town. It's just good for the town. So.
It is unbelievable, and I say it all the time, Mickey. We go to a lot of places, we race all over the place, particularly myself with circuit boat racing and ski racing, all the stuff that I do. I never come to any town that gets behind a race boat meeting like Bowen does.
No, it's been good, and we do get brilliant support from our sponsors, and we've got a great bunch, and we're probably learning new ways of getting them involved and getting more people involved and other little events, but most of that was brought on by listening to some of the crews from the Offshore Superboats and adding to the event. So,
absolutely. Now, mate, you're a little bit cleaner today. What was going on yesterday, please?
Yeah, we did the tomato stomp. We've done it twice before at the show and twice before at the Cold Coast Festival, and the last one we did, it was extremely hot, so it wasn't that popular, but it went really well, and it's something subject to support we're looking at developing even further.
Yeah, well, what's the setup there, mate? Unfortunately I was working up here while it was going on, but I think, what do? You got to jump in there, and the most juice you get is the winner. Is that how it works?
Yep, it's as simple as that. So I come from Stanthorpe, where we have the Upland Grape Harvest Festival every 2 years, and it's a pretty big event. They have a celebrity one, and so there's an option there for celebrities like Dave Bishop to get up and have a jump. But yeah, that's what it is. It's those two. The first minute's probably not too bad. That second minute's very hard, apparently. So and it's as simple as that. The most juice in 2 minutes.
Well, mate, I don't know if I want to be drinking any juice that your feet are crushed up, to be brutally honest with you, mate, but it's a great idea. Well done, son.
Oh, well, I wouldn't either, and there's be some happy cows after the end of it, because that's where it's going. It's getting reused. It won't be lost. A lot of people are asking where it was going, but they're all seconds. So we're originally going to go to the cows, so they'll appreciate it. And, I wouldn't be drinking it either, but, it all goes to a good cause of trying to expand on the event.
Go on, you Mickey. Well, before I let you go, mate, you got anyone else you need to thank? Anything else you need to say?
Yeah, there's just a couple of really last-minute hiccups. One was that truck for the tomato stomp yesterday. PK Truckwise supplied a truck for me. The other trailer. The other trailer was actually got back from Brisbane last night, so it was unavailable. And then our escort up, he's got a land planning business from Proserpine, so we'll post on Facebook who he is and his business, but he was a last minute ring in because our previous fellow we used to use got some medical issues and not doing escorts anymore, so just lasted little hiccups, and someone always comes through for us, so yeah.
That's what Aussie country towns do, isn't it?
Yep, that's how Australia works.
Hey mate, good on you. We love coming here. We always love your good work. I always keep up with you on Facebook during the year, mate. You're always on there just giving me some tips and advice. I always appreciate it. But the live stream, you must be enjoying the live stream, and everybody can watch that back over and over as many times as they want as well.
Yeah, it's a new idea brought to us by the Offshore Superboats, so we're pretty keen to see how that goes, and we reckon the value, it's nice to have it on Speed Week, but we just weren't getting the dollar value back on it, so this will be a new concept, and we'll see how it goes. So.
Well, thanks, Mickey. Great job yesterday, mate. I forgot to do all the tomato out of your toes, son, last night, and hope you enjoyed the racing today.
Yep, they had toes and hair and everything like that, and I hope so that everyone else that competed in it did, so the kids happy and everything like that, so catch you later.
Good on you. Thanks, Mick. Mick Boyce, ladies and gentlemen, from Whitsunday Ag Services. One of the hard-working guys that just makes it all happen here at the Bowen Offshore Superboat Championship. We've also got boat sponsors. So we've got our Adopt a Boat program going on, as we always do here in Bowen. and we'll just run through which boats have got which sponsors on board as we see the boats heading up into the milling area. Won't be too far from a start now. So the Judge is sponsored by Landmark, Team 3 by Abbott Point Operations, Maritimo 11 by LPS Printing, Maritimo 12 by Elders. The Hulk is sponsored by Jockheim's Pies. Reefside Marine are the sponsors of Saracen. Good on you girls, going off again. Puma Rio Don Energy for Team 88 Racing. SUV Simrad has got the beautiful Grand View Hotel, and BIH Paul Hillary is the sponsor of the Dynamic Racing entry. And we've got a whole bunch of people. A community boat is TCR, the Victorian boat, the Team Colonel Racing. And they got a whole bunch of people just tipping in a smaller amount and all getting together to help TCR. And those people are Bowen Home Hardware, Reef Tech, Steve at Williamson's Plumbing, Pizza Hut in Bowen. Had a pizza from Pizza Hut in Bowen last night. Con, it was beautiful. Tim Warren Auto, Pat McDonald Earth Moving, Brooker Motors, Bowen Tyre and Mechanical, Central Hotel and Pilcher's Concrete, all getting on board the Team Colonel Racing entry. So fantastic to see. And joining me again in commentary today is our man Con Selamitis from the SUV Simrad team. And Con, lovely to see you this morning. You're looking fresh again, son.
Well, it's always nice to be here in beautiful Bowen, mate.
It is nice to be here in beautiful Bowen. I've been out and about. It rained on me this morning. I thought I didn't have to leave Melbourne for this, but we've certainly got it all going on here, mate, and just some technical issue there. I don't know whether no one can hear us, yeah? Okay, we're working on that. Thank you, Olivia. We'll keep going for the live stream, obviously, that we've got going as well. But we have boats heading out onto the course now. Okay, here we go. Good line-up of boats now as we go to drop the flag. We do have a PA issue, folks, so if you can hear me here, we are working on that now for you. But the flag drops and we are racing here at Bowen for race number 2. And it is absolutely gunnel to gunnel, deck to deck and side by side, firing down into the first corner. And it is the Judge on the outside, Maritimo 11 on the inside, and Team 3 running into third spot. The outboards get away, the Hulk gets a good start, TCR gets an absolute cracker down the outside. Saracen in the mix there into third, 88 down the outside of them, and Simrad rounding out the field of the outboard boats as they fire up into the dog leg turn. Who is going to do their long lap? They all have to do a short lap for their first race. Working on the PA system now for you, folks, so we'll get that going. But we see the Judge turning in hard and running the wide line as they tip down through the bottom turn here at Bowen. Looking on the inside, Maritimo 11 didn't quite have the acceleration there. Maritimo 11 pushing very, very hard now with Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris trying to make up the ground there on the Judge. Matt Turner and Johnny Shand have got it all before them now as they fire up into the dog leg for the first time. Team 3 out through the dog leg as well as they fire up. The 525s working overtime at the moment, but the real battle's going on. You can absolutely throw a blanket over the 600 horsepower boats now. Up through the dog leg we go, and it is the Judge. Back to Maritimo 11 and Team 3. And then there is an absolute race on in the 600 horsepower category. Gunnel to gunnel and deck to deck. We've got the Hulk. And on the outside of them, the TCR. Then it's back to the Saracen. Rounding out then back to 88 Racing, Michael and Griffith L, and the Simrad SUV. Down the front straight away for the first time, and it is the Judge charging hard. So they tip down into the port turn at the jetty end of the course, and the Judge running very hard. Johnny Shand out of New Zealand. Matthew Turner, only his second race, running hard. Maritimo 11 can't bridge that gap at the moment. Team 3 will come through. These guys will go in their long lap now. This will open the door up for the Team 3. The race is on in the 600 horsepower category, and I tell you what, an absolute cracking start there by TCR. Unfortunately for Dynamic Racing, problems in the pit sees them only coming out onto the course now. They will be able to join the race. So, unbelievable for Andy Smith and Hayden Wild there in the dynamic racing. Boat number 128 missed the start yesterday. And now today, dramas in the pits and only heading out whilst lap number 2 continues on. 2 minutes 45 seconds down. So have a look at this. I would say Maritimo 11 have chosen not to do the long lap here. The judge has done their long lap. So that puts Maritimo into the front. Back to the judge, then back to Team 3. So that's interesting. The judge has been able to do their long lap and still hold out Team 3. Amazing stuff now. Maritimo 11 have poked their nose into the front, but they still have their long lap to go. Up through the top turn. So, at the moment, Maritimo Racing, Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris. But they've got the big judge machine looming in their rear mirrors. Be interesting to see where where the officials allow Dynamic to join the race here. I'd say they'll fire them down the front chute and let them join in, but that's devastating for that crew at Dynamic Racing. So race orders change now. We've got Maritimo 11 in front. Back to the judge. Back to Team 3, but the judge has got absolute pace on as they tip the big victory catamaran into the port turn at the jetty end of the course. They'll be absolutely loving this as they fire through. Will Maritimo 11 do their long lap? That's going to be the question here. So boat 128 Dynamic Racing is going to get squared up and they will join the field on the outside of the course. The Hulk now out in front of the 600 horsepower category. Oh, TCR has a huge fly. Down the front chute, they're absolutely giving it everything at the moment. Big Steve Kelly absolutely hard on the sticks. And hopefully we've got a PA back. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen, we had no PA. So a little bit of an update for the folks on the bank. We have got Team 3 poke their nose into the lead now because we have a long lap done by the judge and also by Maritimo. But Maritimo have only done one long lap. The judge have done their 2 long laps. That leaves the door open for Team 3 now. But we got Maritimo 11 still holding off the judge. Up through the dogleg we go now for those guys. The battle in the outboard category is absolutely red hot. We've got TCR all over the back of the Hulk at the moment. The Hulk had some fuel drama yesterday. Can they continue on? Have a look at this. It is absolute chaos up through the dogleg. Maritimo up the inside. The judge up the outside. Team 3 in the middle as they head up into the top turn. Unbelievable racing. Team Dynamic, boat 128 gets up and going after an absolute nightmare for them this morning. They get the boat back up onto the water and set off in hot pursuit, something they're getting used to doing here at Bowen. Unbelievable. The judge, sponsored by Landmark. 3 wide up through the top turn we go here at Bowen. Race number 2, round number 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships, and the judge pokes its nose back into the lead. Bear in mind, folks, Team 3 only have to do the short lap. The judge has done their 2 long laps. Maritimo 11 have not done their 2 laps. They still have a long lap to go as they pull up next to Team 3. Down the front straight away, and it's the Hulk holding off TCR, then back to Saracen. Down through the bottom turn we go, and the Hulk looking very, very strong indeed at the moment. They look like they're going to be hard to beat from this position. Sponsored by Jockheim's Pies. TCR getting the job done very, very nicely. And then it is the Saracen, sponsored by Reefside Marine. Oh, she didn't go off. She went off every other time. The minute I said Reefside Marine, she didn't go off. I don't know what I got to do up here. Con, help me out, son.
I don't think I can, Dave. They're just a little bit quiet this morning. I think they might have been a few too many bourbons last night.
You and I both, Dylan, don't worry about that. So, it is absolutely on here. Let's have a look at what's going on at the head of the pack now. And I tell you what, it is the Judge doing it absolutely beautiful. The Victory Catamaran, those Johnny Barbagallo race engines, absolutely on fire as they go up through the dogleg. And they've blown the doors off Team 3 and Maritimo 11 now. Outboard racing continues on, and there's races within the race happening here now. We are 7 minutes and 58 seconds into this race, nearly 8 minutes gone. Michael and Griffith Al, they have gathered themselves back together, but they have dropped off the pace just a little bit as Simrad runs down the outside of them. Dynamic is up and going, but unfortunately 2 laps down for them. Andy Smith and Hayden Wild, they'll be biting the dashboard in that boat at the moment. They'll be that angry. The Judge now storming down the front straight away, absolutely getting it done. Matthew Turner and John Shand. Johnny Shand all the way over from the North Island of New Zealand. The beautiful Victory Catamaran. Those Johnny Barbagallo race engines sounding absolutely awesome as it fires down the front straight away. 8.5 minutes gone in this race. Team 3 now searching and looking for a way to try and get the job done here. Now the Judge has done their 2 long laps. Maritimo 11 have done their 2 long laps. So that is it now for long laps, except for Dynamic Racing, but they're out of the picture at the moment. Maritimo 11 having a little bit of a look at the inside of the Hulk now. TCR comes through. Saracen trying to bridge the gap between TCR and Saracen at the moment. Saracen with Anthony Defina and Matt Kelly. The TCR Offshore with Stephen Kelly and Gavin Bricker. So the 2 Kelly brothers absolutely going at it, the Victorian boys. But the TCR, certainly a lot better run for them today than yesterday. Well, Con, we started in a flurry there, mate. Unbelievable stuff. Sorry, we did have a PA go down on us, but we're back in business. And tell you what, this is interesting. So we've now culled the 4 long laps to 2 long laps. Did they ever think about doing 3, maybe?
Maybe next race, Dave. It's one of those things that it's an ongoing sort of thing. So we're learning, and I think it's just making exciting racing, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, and we've got plenty going on up the back straight now. So we've got Maritimo 11 just sneaking up the inside of race leader in the 600 horsepower outboard category, which is Big Mickey Walker and P2 Paul Folds in the Hulk Racing entry, and they have put a little bit of a gap on the TCR now. So Gavin Bricker and Steve Kelly doing a nice job in that boat. Defina and Matt Kelly trying to chase them down. The Judge just comes down round the outside now of 88 Racing, and Simrad having a good little battle going on there now. Dynamic just trying to save something out of this race now after a terrible start. Con, have you got any updates on what might have happened with the Team Dynamic Racing?
They had an MSD pack go down, which I think is something to do with the electronics to start the engine. It wouldn't start, but now it looks like they're going pretty well now, Dave.
Yeah, it's going good, but unfortunately 2 laps lost at the start for them. You just can't afford to do that in these situations. And Team Dynamic Racing working very, very hard. The Judge running a very wide line there, and that's Johnny Shand just probably saying to Matt, keep the momentum up, keep the pace up, run that wide line, let me stay on the throttles, because this boat is absolutely flying at the moment, and they want to maintain that pace and maintain that momentum. They are very, very keen to get it done. I tell you what, I can't remember the last time that a rookie driver stepped in, and I don't want to preempt anything here, but when was the last time a rookie driver, only his second ever race, came out and won a Class 1 race?
I don't, mate, I'm not as old as you, so I wouldn't really know, Dave, but it's not in my memory.
No, you're not as old as me, you're about 5 years older. But through the dogleg we go, Con. And it's a beautiful looking machine, is absolutely flying. This boat was its last livery, it was the Trade You Later boat. And I noticed a little bit of footage came up from Speed Week on Facebook this week of it having a huge fly. I can't even remember where it was. I think it might have been up there at Mackay or somewhere. But yeah, it's had a big life, this boat.
absolutely, mate. And I think they had a bit of a fly in Newcastle one year too. Went upside down.
Yeah, it's been over there. It's been over down in Tasmania on the Derwent River as well, on the Derwent Dash. So it certainly lived life, this boat. But I tell you what, it's living life large at the moment. It is out in front and getting the job done. Johnny Shand out of the North Island and New Zealand. Just hard on the sticks. Matty Turner, he's got a smile. You can see his smile from here. Connie is absolutely loving this as they go in and tip the boat into the port turn. 12 minutes and 50 seconds gone, coming up to the halfway mark of this race.
Oh, those boys will be sweating now, mate. It's pretty cool outside, but it'll be hot as hell inside those boats.
Yeah, not a lot of airflow in these boats. There's no air conditioning, of course, but look, a nice little battle going on between the boys in 88 Racing and the SUV Simrad. Con, your hard charge is having a nice battle going on there.
Yeah, mate, those boys are doing really well, both lots of them. I'm glad to see the Simrad boys keeping up with 88 because she's a real competitive little thing. So, yeah, no, very excited, mate, very excited.
Les Binkin, another deputy this weekend, and of course Kenny Tree, who is well, still a relative newcomer to the series as well, but a little bit of a battle going on here between Maritimo 11 and Team 3. So Maritimo 11 out the back of Team 3 there, so they're trying to make some ground. And just to throw some interest into the mix, we got Dynamic 2 laps down, but coming around the outside of them, so certainly wanting to, I guess, at least show Con that they've got good pace.
Oh, absolutely, mate, and you know what they don't do in this race, they'll do in the next race.
Yeah, we've got another race coming up at 1 o'clock, folks. So we might, 1:20, sorry, yes. And it should be very, very exciting to see these guys. And, you know, every time these guys go out here in these races, Con, they learn something. And the mistakes that get made in, you know, yesterday's race and today's race, you know, everyone's refining their performance. And you'll think the last race of the day will be an absolute corker.
Oh, it certainly will, Dave. And it looks like, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like all the boats are on song at the moment, so yeah, it's going to be even better.
Absolutely awesome. So dogleg coming up now, and we have got a fair bit going on. The judge is just doing their own thing out in front at the moment, but through the dogleg we've got Team 3 and Maritimo 11 having a serious look at them. And just to throw some interest into the mix, we've got the TCR boat getting swamped by the big bangers. He runs on to pole position there. Maritimo 11 now pokes its nose into the lead, and I'll tell you what, is that, that's Dynamic, sorry, on the outside of them. So they're going to try and run with the Maritimo 11 and try and run for a little bit of pride. So the 850 horsepower boats just getting the job done on the 525 horsepower boat, Team 3 there now. The judge now comes through, getting it done very, very nicely. Team Dynamic far around the outside. We got Maritimo 11 having a real dip on the inside there, but I just can't see them bridging this gap between the judge at the moment. We're 15 minutes 20 seconds into this race, so we're at half race distance now, and it is absolutely on. Massive thank you to all the supporters that helped this weekend. Other supporters include GSL Aviation, Dale Last, the Burdekin MP out there, thank you Dale. Corvita Agri Science, Whitsunday Ag Services, Bowen Tourism and Business, the Queen's Beach Hotel, the Rose Bay Resort, Le Petit Dance School, the Bowen Hotel, Philby Motor, McKay Tiger Moth, Cruise Whitsundays, Airlie Beach Skydivers. I'd like to thank Paul and Jane Gibbs as well, our start boat in the Hog's Breath machine, along with Team Judge and Con at SUV Simrad. You're on my list, son. You must have done something. Kenny Tree as well. He supplied a Kenworth merchandise pack. Fish Divine and Rum Bar. Chris Monsieur, the Pizza Hut. Bowen Home Hardware. Refrigeration Technologies. Steve Williams Plumbing. Tim Warren Auto. Pat McDowell Earth Moving. Bowen Tire and Mechanical. The Central Hotel. Pilcher's Concrete and Zesty Designs as the race continues on, and TCR getting the job done very, very nicely indeed as they come through. Saracen still having a look at the inside of them. Oh, I need to lie down and a hug from my mum up here. Saracen getting it done beautifully and just spreading out a little bit now, but the Hulk is a race leader in the 600 horsepower category, doing it nicely. They are starting to put a lap on some of the other 600 competitors now, and in fact they're going to put a lap on 88, which is interesting because them and 88 were running side by side yesterday. I'm just wondering whether there might be a little bit of an issue with the Team 88 entry now as the Hulk quite comfortably gets past them up the inside on the dog leg. So the Hulk really getting the job done nicely now in the 600 horsepower category, and they want to dominate this, and they're certainly doing that at the moment. They go round 88, and they've also snuck up the inside there of SUV Simrad, and they go on their merry way. Simrad still having a little bit of a look at 88 there. Can they get something done up into the top turn? Maritimo 11 now, pushing very, very hard. The beautiful 6-drive boat, getting it done very nicely. Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris looking very good as they slip down through the bottom turn. They've actually pulled a little bit of distance here on Andy Smith and Hayden Wild in the Dynamic Racing entry. Then it's back to Team 3, who are actually running in third spot at the moment outright, bearing in mind that Team Dynamic are a couple of laps down. The Hulk, the absolute domination here by the Hulk at the moment in the outboard category. And these boys have just been absolutely on fire this weekend. Big Mickey Walker, the big farmer there from Queensland, just getting it done beautifully. P2, Paul Folds. He's been racing for 812 years now. He knows absolutely every wave on the Queensland coast, and he's doing it beautifully out there at the minute. They're really getting it done. They round up Michael and Griffith Al, and I just wonder whether there may be an issue in that boat, because they've been lapped pretty comfortably by the Hulk there, mate. And Con, you know, they had a good battle with the Hulk yesterday, but they're way down on pace with them now.
Yeah, mate, I think, and you know, when you do something like that, sometimes you just take it a little bit easy on the next race, because there's always that chance that you just got a bit of fright in you.
Mate, have a look at this. Sorry just to chop you off there, but it's Harrison having a little bit of a look up the inside of TCR here. And this is the Victorian benefit. It is on like Donkey Kong here, Con.
Absolutely, mate, and it's such a great thing to see these two boats come all the way from Victoria. I think it was 4 million miles from New South Wales, but it was another million for them to come up.
I've told you a million times not to exaggerate, Con. The judge now, just like poetry in motion as they tip down into the port turn at the bottom end of this beautiful Bowen course. And I tell you what, the Team Dynamic boys will be absolutely spewing, as they'd love to be running next to the judge boat at the moment, but the judge having it all their own way at the minute. Maritimo 11 just pushing very, very hard, trying to get the job done here. Okay, is this a request from Mick Bruce about rooster tails? I'll give you the heads up. I'll make something up. No, it's true. Everything I say is true, Con. So what these guys do, ladies and gentlemen, you'll notice that when they accelerate out of the top turn here, you'll see the rooster tails come up. These guys actually trim the boats up on acceleration out of the corners to try and get some propeller speed. They actually trim them out of the water to try and get a little bit of what we call wheel spin or cavitation and try and get the props going. Once the boat speed matches the propeller speed, the rooster tail then drops away. So you'll notice once they really get flying down this front straight, the rooster tail starts to drop off as the boat speed matches the propeller speed. That's why you'll see big rooster tails coming out the backs of the boats when you're under acceleration, Con.
Absolutely, mate, and those boys push them hard. Once they come into the corner, they're just flat on it. So, yeah, it's all the power down to the ground.
Just trying to accelerate as hard as they can, and of course, as we say, they've got more horsepower than can actually push the boat, so they actually get a little bit of prop slip, and that's what the big rooster tail. If we watch the judge come through the top turn, you'll actually see that the rooster tail will be very big on exit of the corner, and you'll see it drop away as the boat speed starts to match the propeller speed. But I tell you what, Reefside Marine, get up and about, because Saracen puts a lap on 88 and gets in front of TCR. So they charge hard and get up into second place in the 600 horsepower outboard category. Judge comes through. Down through the bottom turn we go as we give the backpackers a shower off the end of the jetty. Maritimo 11, these boys will be chomping at the bit to get going. Sponsored by LPS Printing. We call this boat the Rocket Ship. It is an absolute go-kart, this thing. It's a super quick little boat running the number 6 Mercury outdrives. What have you picked up on here, Con?
Oh, mate, I was just going to say, that's LPS, just for those of you who are out of town, is Lehman Print Solutions. So, great bunch of guys if you ever need anything done. He actually is a diver, and he dunked me in the water for my dunk test while we were here on Friday.
We didn't do much of a job, Conjis is still here. I told him you meant to hold your foot on his head until the bubbles stopped coming up.
Oh, now I understand what happened.
We should explain that too, mate. All of these drivers and crews have to do what we call a dunk test. Can you explain that to the fans?
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. What they do is they put you in a little contraption in a swimming pool, and you're sitting in, you're strapped in, and then they turn you upside down and they expect you to breathe underwater. They do give you a regulator. It's a little hard to find sometimes because they actually put blindfold on you. So you're upside down in a swimming pool looking for a regulator so you can breathe, and then you've got to unstrap yourself and get out.
Well, mate, you've done it. You've done it in real life. You know, it's probably a good question to ask. You know, you've done it in real life. You've done the dunk test. How realistic is the simulation?
It's actually easier in the boat. It's scarier on the dunk test.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Well, it's probably the way you want it to be too, because you don't want it to be the other way around.
No, absolutely, mate. And what it does, it just calms you down in that sort of situation. So I've been over with my son and with my daughter, and they were both calm as cucumbers, mate, when it actually happened. So the dunk test works. Having to do a dive certificate as well also helps. So it's just awesome, mate.
Okay, so we've got the Saracen for Reefside Marine just coming through down through the bottom turn. They've got a good little break. Oh, they have a little bit of a jump. Pull one sponsoring right up out of the water. The judge, you can hear Johnny Shan just feathering the throttles now as they try and get that boat turned in and get the judge down around the outside of TCR. Gavin Bricker and Matt Kelly. I'll give you the tip. Matty Kelly won't be too pleased seeing his brother go past him.
Absolutely, mate. They're very competitive boys, aren't they?
They are super competitive, and he won't like that. Gavin Bricker also, of course, tunnel boat racer, ski racer. He's done it all, and they would have thought they had got a pretty good start and got the jump. I don't think they would have been too excited to see Saracen pull up alongside him. No,
mate, but she's a beautiful little boat, the Saracen, so she's got heaps of go to her.
Yeah, it's a good thing, and it's obviously Saracen design based off the American Skater, and doing a very, very nice job indeed. Team Dynamic now having a little bit of a lonely run. Hayden Wild and Andy Smith. Hayden doing a beautiful job on the sticks there, and Andy steering that boat. Team 3 now come through, so Matt Humphrey just having a real go here as they bring that down, and of course Ian Harris in the boat with him. A few driver changes here. Can't have to think about what I'm saying, so I'd normally just reel it off, but there's been plenty of changes this weekend due to a few teams overseas.
Absolutely, mate. Tom and Bill actually put these guys in the boats to actually come up to Bowen, because Tom's over there in Italy having some, pizza and stuff, and racing the X-Cat.
Yeah, he did well last night in X-Cat too, mate. They came second in the X-Cat World Championship, so the Italian round there, so well done to Tommy over there and the boys and Roscoe, and did a great job. And I think Team Australia came in third or fourth. I'll double check that for you as well, but they did a wonderful job as well, so good to see the Aussies flying the flag in the X-Cat World Championship. Big shout out to my old mate Paul Marinelli, I noticed, just slid into the commentary gig over there as well.
Nice, Dave. How do we get a job like that, mate?
Well, Marinelli kept that one under his hat. I didn't know he was going. I don't think he wanted me to come with him.
Mate, you would have gone in his suitcase with him, wouldn't you?
I would have snuck in there, no problems at all. So the battle continues on between Saracen and the big 28 skater of TCR, and Saracen certainly starting to make a little bit of a break there on those guys now, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch the Hulk. It is an absolute rocket ship now. Team Maritimo 11 now tipping down into the port turn here at the bottom end of the course, and these guys having a real red-hot go. Brendan Fryer, only his second race in this particular boat, and Ian Harris doing a wonderful job in that particular boat. I think I called Ian Harris in Team 3. It's actually Lee Travascus in Team 3, Con, but Lee, of course, one of the absolute legends of offshore powerboat racing, and they're doing a great job. Just haven't quite got the power in that Team 3 boat with the 525s, and I think we maybe went a little bit far with the parity in the race yesterday, and I think we've probably gone a little bit the other way, so maybe we need to make it 3 laps this next time around.
Mate, it really looks like it, doesn't it? But Russell's got the numbers, mate. He'll get it all sorted, and we'll see what happens for race 2.
Not long to go now, mate. 27 minutes gone in this race. Only 3 minutes left to run. and everybody looking fairly settled at the minute. Let's hope we can bring them all home in one piece and get them all assembled to line up for race number 2, which is at 1:20 this afternoon. If you're watching on the live stream, we certainly hope you're enjoying the racing here from beautiful Bowen in far north Queensland. And I'll tell you what, we've got a massive turnout of local Bowenites here, and we certainly hope they're enjoying the racing. Sounds like they're enjoying the racing, that's for sure, here, and having a great day. Carnival atmosphere here too, Con?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The people of Bowen have turned out. We've got street rides and all sorts of stuff for the kids, face painting, food, over to the North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club for a feed today. Drinks at the North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club. Those guys have been fantastic to us as well. They put us out and moved all their boats so our boats could go in for the weekend. Just a bunch of legends, mate.
Okay, just had word, Con, the judge has just picked up the final lap, so they are on their last lap. The judge out in front and doing it in absolutely fine style. Sponsored by Landmark, and they charge hard. The boat that's running second in 600 just goes past the front of us now, which is the Saracen for Reefside Marine. Then it's Team Colonel Racing. The list of sponsors extensive for those boys. Bowen Home Hardware, Retech, Steve Williams Plumbing, Pizza Hut, Tim Warren Auto, Pat McDonald Earth Moving, Brooker Motors, Bowen Tire Mechanical, Central Hotel and Pilchers Concrete. Try saying that 5 times fast, Con.
Mate, it's awesome to see so many people get behind this event, and those guys who Dave just mentioned, they all came on right at the last minute to get this boat up from Victoria, so a huge thanks to them.
It's great to see poor old Scotty Richardson, who's down to his last 150 million, getting a little chop out. Actually, the poor bugger is working this weekend, that's why he's not here. He just sent his boat with 2 reprobates to drive it, so I don't know what he was thinking.
Oh, mate, we're so lucky that he actually did, mate, so putting on a great show at the moment for the people of Bowen, buddy.
Absolutely right. If you're watching at home, g'day Scotty, you're a ripper, and Scotty feeds us down at the Australian Offshore Powerboat Club as well. He, for our meetings, he's a chef and he feeds us up. That's why I'm getting fat, Con.
Oh, is that what it is, Dave? Maybe we'll get an invite one day, eh?
Well, you can come, but you'd have to come to Melbourne. Ladies and gentlemen, stand up and wave your hats and programs, because it is going to be an inaugural win for the judge, sponsored by Landmark, and they charge hard. Matthew Turner and the Kiwi Cuzzy Bro Jandal wearing legend Johnny Shand. They bring it home. Stand up and wave your hats and programs. The judge gets the job done. Boat number 7. 2 races, 1 win. And keep it coming for the hard-charging Hulk Racing, Mickey Walker and Paul Folds getting it done. The Hulk take the win in the 600 horsepower category, sponsored by Chocohimes Pies. And I reckon this one is going to go off, ladies and gentlemen, because it is the Saracen, sponsored by Reef Marine. Second place in 600 horsepower, Anthony Defina and Matthew Horatio Aloysius Kelly. Second place in the Supercat Extreme category, Maritimo 11, Brendan Harris and Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris. I'm getting dyslexic up here. TCR come through. Third place for Team Colonel Racing with Gavin Bricker and Steve Kelly. Mentioned to Maritimo 11 LPS Printing, then Dynamic. They'll come through and they'll snag 4th spot in the Supercat Extreme category. Sponsored by BIH Paul Hillary. Up through the top turn, and we've got Team 3, Lee Travascus and Matt Humphrey. As they bring the Team 3 home, just not quite the power to get the job done in the little 525 Mercruisers, but ever reliable, and they got to the end. Sponsored by Abbott Point Operations. Give them a big round of applause. Team 3, Lee Travascus and Matt Humphrey. And 88, yeah, as we thought, maybe a drama there, but Con, it's opened the door for your man. Bring him home, son.
Yeah, it's awesome to see Simrad coming down. It's terrible to see poor old Griff and Mikey slow down so quickly on the last lap, mate. But, yeah, I'm sure the boys in there, Ken and Les, God Lord, I've been doing this too long. They'll be stoked, mate.
Well done, Simrad to come through. Kenny Tree and Les Binkin getting the job done. Marmong Point Marina, Les Binkin that is. And you guys are, of course, sponsored by the Grand View Hotel. Big thank you to the Grand View Hotel. I reckon what we've tipped into them this weekend, they could retire.
Oh, mate, if it wasn't for the last few nights, they're going to be able to retire tonight. I can tell you that.
Give it up for Michael and Griffith L. They've got drama, but they've brought Team 88 Power Zone Racing home. And that is a slowing at 88 Racing, sponsored by Puma Rio Don Energy. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up race number 1, but that is not the end of the day by a long shot. We've got race number 2 at 1:20. You can head over to the pits, check out the boats, talk to the competitors, have a bit of a look at what's going on in there. Obviously, you're not allowed in the crane area for OH&S issues, or down on the marina, but you can certainly get down there and you get a pretty good view. So as we bring the boats through, and
We're going to.
so that wraps it up from me for the live commentary here, and for our live stream we're going to go and a couple of interviews and a couple of bit of stuff going on that we did this morning, and we're going to head over to that now. So please stick around and enjoy the rest of the day here at beautiful Bowen. This is round number 2, and we are waiting now on race number 3. 20 past 1, we'll be back into more racing. Well, the thing is that everybody that I asked out, including said that.
Discover a diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons. Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover a diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons. Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover a diverse place of stunning.
Well, Matty, first race yesterday, big day for you. Tell us about it, please.
Oh, we're on the pace from the start. We're leading most of the race and just had a minor mechanical problem. We shut one engine down, got it fixed overnight. We're back here again.
Well, mate, unbelievable. I mean, the boat was like a shot dog out of the start. Not only that, you got a great start. You know, for a couple of guys that haven't raced together, I thought it was really impressive. You must have been happy with that start.
Yeah, the start was bang on, but Shandy and I were bouncing off each other, good communication, and just put the boat where it needed to be.
Must be pretty exciting. You know, you look across to your left-hand side there, you got one of the best teams in Australia, Maritimo, right there, and you're giving them some hurry up.
Yeah, we did. We showed them a bit today. So, yeah, quite impressed. Shandy had it nailed in, so it's good.
Tell us a little bit about the engines. I know your engine man, Johnny Barbagallo, best in the business, been working till about 2 o'clock this morning. What happened?
It's just a minor issue with a push rod. So, and that's all it is. We threw a push rod on overnight, and it should be good to go. I don't think we should have any problems, but best of luck.
Well, they're pretty complicated machines, mate, 2 engines and all the other stuff that goes on in them. So, you know, it's a good day when nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, hopefully. So 2 races today. If everything goes to plan, we might be on the pace again. See how we go.
Well, mate, you've given them all notice. I think they know you're here now.
Yeah, I think they do. We're stirring the nest.
Good on you, mate. Great to watch.
Good man, Bisho.
We're just walking past the Maritimo 11. Now, yesterday I gave everybody a little bit of an insight into a stern drive versus a shaft drive boat. This particular boat runs the Mercury number 6 outdrives, and we spoke about them and the way they steer the boat and trim the boat. A really interesting thing on this boat's a tunnel flap, and I wanted to show you what that's all about. So, Scotty, we're just going to have a look over here. Have a look at this beautiful bit of billet aluminium hanging off the tunnel of the boat here. Now, with these particular boats, air is trapped in the tunnel. The tunnel gets narrower towards the rear of the boat. it compresses the air and lifts the boat up onto the air and runs on a cushion of air, reducing drag on the water on the actual planing surfaces of the hull here. What you can do with this tunnel flap is you can actually either release air out of the tunnel or you can compress air into the tunnel. So what the guys can do in the cockpit, if they need a little bit more lift and a little bit more go, they can actually drop this tunnel flap down, which compresses the air that's coming down this tunnel at around about 120 miles an hour, and it actually gives the boat extra lift and gives it more speed. Just another one of the interesting facts on one of these V8 superboats. Well, Brendo, big day yesterday. What do you do now, mate? Do you just retire one for one?
Be good if it was that easy, but unfortunately not. We'll reassess today. We've done a little bit of changes to the boat, and we'll see how that goes for the first race. But yeah, as much as I want to, it's back into it today for sure.
Mate, it was an interesting race, I guess, for you guys. I mean, your first time in the boat, really, but with the long lap, you had, a bit of chasing going on. Your start probably wasn't as good as it could have been.
No, we unfortunately boat 12 had that bit of an issue before the race, and it's shot us up into P1. But yeah, we couldn't capitalise on that, unfortunately. But we got P1 again today, so yeah, it's gonna change our dynamics a little bit into that first corner for sure.
Tell me a little bit about that long lap scenario. I noticed most guys tried to get it done after lap number 1 yesterday.
Yeah, we were the same. We just wanted to get it done now the way. They've reduced it today down to 2 laps, so today, just get them done now the way first up, I think, again.
It was interesting watching that. I mean, I think Team 3 probably did have a little bit of an advantage yesterday after the second long lap that the other guys had to do.
Yeah, it was. It definitely mixes things up a little bit. But yeah, today we're just going to get them done out of the way and then focus on the rest of the race with our gearing. We're aiming for that short lap, so we want to get there as quick as we can.
Yeah, I noticed too, the Judge, super quick boat, and they really gave you some hurry up down into that first turn.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't expecting them to see them there on that first turn so soon, and they were there and they got round us, and they did a great job too. The guys had that boat singing, so it's we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for them today. Is
that part of the reason for the gear change?
Yeah, to a certain degree. We're gearing that bit shorter. The track caught us by surprise yesterday with how short it actually was, so yeah, we'll see today.
Mate, you were the most reliable and you were the fastest in the end, so well done, bud.
Awesome, thanks very much.
Well, some secret squirrel business going on in here because I've snuck into the Maritimo workshop truck. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of an insight into what goes on in one of these offshore superboat teams. Standing right next to one of the spare engines, this is a 509 cubic inch big block, basically a Chevrolet-based engine. It's a Dart cylinder block with Brodex cylinder heads. It runs a carburettor, and these engines make around about 800 to 850 horsepower. Run up to about 8,000 RPM. MSD ignition on them, as you can see. Quite a simple engine, basically, but big horsepower and a little bit of money spent there as well. They're a dry sump arrangement, and as you can see, the Maritimo guys do this absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at these billet Maritimo rocker covers, just for an example of the extent that these guys go to. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Maritimo fuel rails here, big air filters on them as well to keep the salt water out of the engines too. Runs an alternator on the boat, a lot of electrics in these boats as well, obviously, so you need a good alternator on these particular boats. You can see the dry sump pump just down here as well, and the dry sump tank as well. So quite a compact, quite a neat engine, a relatively simple engine, but certainly absolute killer horsepower and very, very reliable in this particular series. If we make our way through the truck a little bit more, you can see we've got lathes, we've got drill stands, drill presses, all the BAC bins here, which have got everything that you could ever want to put one of these superboats back together with. A lot of bench space here, all the tools that you need. A lot of old school photos as well. The old original Maritimo 11 there, the Team Australia boat just hang up on the wall. Few memories there for this team that, has been racing now for in excess of 25, 30 years. Have a look on the wall here though. Each one of these propellers are CNC. Most of them I'm looking at are herring propellers. There's a couple of the Mercury propellers in there as well. All billet CNC 4, 5, 6 blade propellers. No 4s now, all 5 and 6. Around about $10,000 to $12,000 a pop. So you can imagine just what that wall's worth there. As we go through, obviously the boys have the whiteboard, and it doesn't look like there's a lot going on this weekend because the whiteboard's clear. They must all be happy, I guess. But certainly in this particular truck, everything that you need to go offshore superboat racing. This is not only one of the most professional teams in Australia, but an absolute world-class operation. I've just snuck up here onto the Maritimo 12. Pretty sad sight up here. We've had a fire in the engine bay. I've got the great man, bloke that hasn't had much sleep, Johnny Barbagallo. You've had to do a little bit of work on both the Judge and this boat.
Yeah, a little bit of work, but I suppose that's why we're here, to try and get boats back in the water. It's a bit disappointing what's happened to this boat. I wish we could fiberglass, and then that way it would be in the water as well.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I was talking to Al before, but he said that basically the engine's fine.
Yeah, everything on the engine looks good. I mean, I don't know. I spoke to Kurt last night and told him what had happened, but it's just real disappointing. I hate anything like this to happen under my watch.
Yeah, I guess, and for the people at home that probably don't realise, of course, Kurt is the engine man for Maritimo, and you've sort of just stepped in and just trying to look after the show this weekend. Obviously, you do plenty of the boats in the series, but I guess something a little bit out of your control though, Johnny.
Well, I hope it was. I mean, I can't see that we made an error anywhere, and I feel really bad because Kurt trusted me with all this gear, and we just haven't come through with the goods this weekend.
Well, mate, I think you came through with the goods on the Judge. That boat was an absolute shot dog off the start line yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't really get to see anything yesterday, but everybody seemed pretty happy with how it's going, and it's another competitor out here, and I'm sure they'll keep Brendan and Ian pretty honest today.
I'm sure they will, mate. It was a really interesting scenario too. You weren't even sure. It broke a push rod, which is quite unusual, and no other damage.
No, I was actually going to talk to Kurt about it last night, but he was busy, obviously, with them doing well over in Italy. So. But yeah, something's failed, and anyway, luckily we had enough components to fix it and get it back in the water for today.
Mate, you're a good operator. They're lucky to have a good man like yourself, and Big L over here as well, doing a fantastic job both for Team Maritimo and for the Judge. Unfortunately, a little bit of a fire here, which Scotty's just going to pan across to now, and a little bit of damage there. But I guess, as you say, a little bit of fiberglass work at least builds a boat builder.
Yeah, that's right. It's definitely going to the right joint, and while we got you, I really appreciate Maritimo's trust in me and to look after these millions of dollars of equipment while they're overseas racing. So thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Good on you, mate. We love having you here, Johnny, and good luck in the drag racing season as well, mate.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bisho.
Go on you, Johnny. Cheers.